Hey guys, welcome to the next episode, episode 3 I think, of Mirror Networking with VR Interaction Framework. In this episode I'm going to go over a change that I made from the last video, and then we're going to bring in final IK and get some full body action going on for you guys that just want to get a body in there and start spawning it so you can have full body in multiplayer. So first I want to hit on a note on a change that I made. There was a comment on Discord. They were having trouble with their hand animator, the network animator, making them have a network object. I've just pulled my player prefab into the scene here. And all you need to do if it's doing that, I know in the video I did this. Let me find the animator. I actually put the network animator on the hand itself with the animator. Well, it was forcing them to have a network identity on here with it when they don't need it, because you've got a network identity on the root, which is all you really need. So just copy it and come up to the root and just paste it, and it should carry over everything. It's probably a better habit and cleaner just to put everything on the root anyway, and then it'll be on there with your network identity and it won't force you to have one. So I'll go ahead and make that change now. Down in my right hand, right controller. Nope, where's that? Nope. Oh, there it is. Okay. Go ahead and get rid of it. Remove component. Up here on the root, and just paste it. There it is. Okay, and then we can just come back over here and get rid of these. Remove component. Make sure it removed the other one. Okay. Over here, and apply the overrides, and that'll fix the problem. And again, make sure they're client authoritative with client to server. Okay, so in order to do full body, you're going to need a body. So for this, I'm going to use one from Mixamo. This is one from my final IK setup video. You can use any of them that you want. Just make sure that it's in a T-pose, and when you download it, make sure it's FBX for Unity. Then just download the model. You don't need any animations, you only need the character. I've already got it, so I'm going to go ahead and cancel it. But once you have it downloaded, come into your assets and let's just make a new folder. And we will call this avatar, just so we know where it's at. And I'm going to go into my download folder, and I'll open this up, and then I'm just going to drag that model that I downloaded, and then we're going to click on the guy, and we're going to go to rig, and we're going to switch this to humanoid. We're going to click apply. We're going to go to materials, we'll click extract textures. We're just going to select the same folder, so select folder. It'll pop out the textures, say fix now, then extract materials, select the same folder, boom, there we go, we have our little guy. He's all set up and he's a humanoid. Then let's just take him and we'll just make him a child of the rig. Oh, cancel this. Hit apply. Hit apply first, then bring him in and make him a child of the rig. He should already be at 0.00. You can see the center of our player is actually up here, and this guy's up here. If you just want it to look nice and neat, just do -1. You don't really need to do that, but then let's go up and go to your package manager. Go to my assets. If this is a paid asset that we are using, so if you do not have it or do not own it, go purchase it and get it in your assets and download it and import it. You could also do this with Unity IK with several other videos that are floating around YouTube, but this is just faster. Go ahead and import it. And once that's imported, go ahead and close that. Go back to our assets, go to BNG Framework. Go to integrations, go over to final IK and import the integrations, import. Okay, so once we've done that, let's go over here, and I'm going to go ahead and unpack this guy by itself. Go to prefab, unpack completely. then on his root, you can see we have an animator here. Go ahead and hit add component, and we want VRIK. Oh, where are you? Boom, there he is. References should autofill. This is just all the bones that it uses. Open up your solvers where it says plant feet. We don't want that. And then on the spine, this is where we're going to do some stuff. Come down. Go ahead and get rid of this out of the way. Come down to your head. Network head. Right click, create an empty. We'll call this head target. Left hand, add an empty. Left hand target. Same thing for your right hand. Create an empty. Right hand target. So, go ahead and come back to your IK. Down to the spine where it says head, we're going to assign the head target. Come down to the left arm where it says target. Do our left hand target. And right arm, same thing. We're going to do our right hand target. Now, a lot of people have, they first get in here, this is set to procedural. Procedural sucks. I'm not a fan. If you're not using sensors on your legs, I mean, I've never been able to, my joke is that it looks like a bunch of invisible elves dragging around a dead body. So I use the animator, so to switch this to animated. VRIK already comes with a animation controller for this. So if you just click here and type VRIK, this will give you 8-way leg animation. So in case anybody was wondering. So now we need to make some scripts. So we need to make network versions of player scale and the Y offset. And you might be asking, well, why don't we just modify the scripts that already exist? Well, you're going to want scenes where you're in single player and you don't want it, you know, like your menu scene or stuff like that. It's just, you might want those scripts for single player. And if you've got them set up as network behaviors, it's going to require network manager and all kinds of stuff in the scene. So we're just going to make network versions of these scripts. So go to your scripts folder and what did I call it? Network BNG scripts. Yeah, go in here, create a new script, and we'll call it network Y, and we'll call it character Y offset. And we'll open that little guy up. So what you need is you need the character Y offset from BNG. Need this. So go ahead and grab his namespace just like we did before. Need the rest of this. I'm gonna fix my. There we go. At the top, we're gonna say using here. Turn it into a network behavior. So we only want to do this locally, and then we want to sync those results. So this only needs to be happening on the local player. So what we need to do is we just need to disable this thing if we're not the local player. So we're going to say up here, we're going to say public override void on client, so on start client, yeah. So when we start the client, when we join the game, we're going to say if is not owned, this dot enabled equals false. So we'll just disable it, and that way it's not processing on the remote PC. It's only going to be processing locally. So if we come over to our scene, come back over to our rig, add component, network, character, Y offset. That's the script that we just made. This is going to calculate the offset to make this guy's legs not be up in his chest. When you first get IK going, you'll notice when you hit play, the offset's off and everything's weird. So from here, we've got to grab our network rig, go and apply our overrides. We're going to set this guy up to where we can line up our head and our hands, and we got to do that in real time. So once you've applied it, go ahead and delete it. You're going to need your headset on for this. So in the last video, on the rig, on the camera, center camera, I switched this to 0.07. Let's switch it back to 0.01 for now. So now let's hit save, let's play. Go ahead and hit host. That'll bring us in. Before we do that, forgot to do something. Assets, prefabs, bring a prefab in. Network head, get rid of the graphics. We don't need it. File, save, rig, overrides, apply all. Go delete them again. Save, play. Host. You see we spawned in and we now got our offset going on. Let's come in here to our network head target. Now the trick here is to look through your glasses at the same time, and what I do is I'll close one eye and I'll try to make it look like I'm almost wearing glasses, and I'll try to show you what that looks like after I get it kind of set up. So pull it down until you can see your eyes in front of you, and then just start pulling it back with one eye closed, and try to line the eye socket up that's coming up into your face as if you're wearing glasses. And once you're happy with it, looks like your eyeball is on top of your eyeball, go ahead and center the X, then copy component, hit play, and then we're going to bring it back in, come down to your head target, paste the component values. So go and apply all, delete it, file, save, and then we can come back down into our center eye anchor, and we can switch this back to 0.07. You might have to adjust this a little bit. Now. Host. Okay, so now everything looks pretty good. Now we got to do the hands. You can see I can stand up. We still got to do scaling and things like that, but head looks pretty good. You might spend some more time on your adjustment. So since we're in here, well, no, not since we're in here. Let's go ahead and bring up the prefab again. I made a script to match rotations, so we only have to line one hand up rotationally, and the other one will match it so that they match. And then the only other thing we got to do is copy the position and then make the X opposite. So let's go into scripts. I'm just going to drop this right here. This is from where I shared the scripts from the last one. So let's make a new script, and we'll call this mirror rotation. This also comes in handy for making left and right hand poses, because you can actually move your finger and the other one will match it in a mirrored position, so you can do two positions or two poses at once. Let's go ahead and open that up. It's a pretty simple script. Just going to copy it over. So all we're doing is we're getting the transform of the hand, and then the target the hand that we're going to be targeting, it'll automatically get all the children. So if you put this on your right and left hand, it'll get every finger transform, and then it just runs that through an iteration for each of them, and then makes the rotation match the target. That's what this does for you. Pretty simple script. Anyway, so back into our project. We're only going to be having one target move with this, so there'll only be one transform in that list. So let's come down to our left-hand target on our network rig, and let's just go ahead and drop that on there. And then it needs the hand. I left that public in case people wanted to play around with it and do different things with it. And then our target hand is going to be our right hand. Right-hand target, I should say. So they'll mirror each other when we get in there. So let's go ahead and click on the root, overrides, apply all, file, save. Actually, I think I can just disable this, but we'll have another dude in here. So I'm just going to keep deleting them. Let's get rid of them. File, save, play. Host client, come into your scene view. We need our right hand. And that's the one that we're going to be messing with. So click on my guy. Come down to your right hand target. If you look on your left hand, see we've got these transforms that it auto-filled for us. So we're going to be moving our right hand, our left hand will match our rotation. So just come in here on your hand. Get everything turned around the right way. And we're just going to line this guy up. You can see my other hand's turning at the same time in the opposite direction. You guys can spend more time on this for the sake of the video. I'm just going to kind of quickly get it roughed in so that it looks okay and give you some tips on it. Mainly, you want the wrist bend to be in the same spot. So let's just bring this over, bring this forward, bring it down. And you'll be able to tell because it's where the bone bends, and it'll just kind of look right where they both bend at the same time. And just kind of get your rotation kind of matched up a little bit. Rush through it too much so you guys get an idea. That one, like that. Kind of like that. It's pretty close. Okay, so you want to copy component. Hit play, and then come back over to your prefabs, drag your network rig back in, come down to your right hand target, and then paste component values. Cool. So let's copy the position since we're in here because we need this for our other hand. So go ahead and apply all. For your overrides, delete it, file, save, hit play. Host. You can see our hand is still set up. Our other one, rotation is correct, but the position's not there. So come down to your left-hand target, and we're going to go ahead and paste our position, and then for the X, hit negative. And there you go. You don't have to set one hand up, you just have to move your position over and then make it a negative. So now let's go ahead and copy this, copy the component, and then let's go ahead and get rid of, actually we don't need to do that. Then hit unplay it, save, let's pull our network rig back in, come back down to your left hand target, we're going to paste the values, and then we can get rid of this script. And then overrides, apply all, delete, file, save, play. Host, scene. There you go. I think feels pretty good. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do a build to make sure that our Y offset is, no, actually it's not going to. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that. We got to do one more thing. Pull your rig back in. Add a network transform, unreliable. Open it up, and we want our rig. We want this. And we want to sync the scale. Come down and make sure that it is client authoritative, client to server, file, save. And what we're going to do is we're going to sync the scale and the position and the rotation. Might as well. You probably don't need the rotation, but we'll send it anyway. You guys can play with these settings, but you definitely need position and scale because our offset is giving us a Y offset on our scale. So what happens is locally we are overriding this with an offset, and then this component is syncing that to the remote player so that the feet will be on the ground in the same spot. So let's go ahead and apply our overrides, delete it, probably just save it again, and build and run. And fingers crossed this actually works. Hit host, hit play, hit client, and there we are on that guy. Let's come out a little bit, and there we go. Okay, so now let's do player scaling so that you can actually scale this thing to your player. Later on, we'll actually bring in player height so that if you're sitting, but they need to be standing in sitting mode, we'll start working with bringing in that in another video as we progress down this road. Because you have to write a new script that actually incorporates both of them, and then we're going to trigger them a different way, and then we're actually going to save those floats and then reload them. So we'll do that in another video. It's kind of a process to actually build that script. So player scaling. So again, you want a network version of the player scale. So let's go in here and we'll go to BNG Framework Integrations, Final IK, and there's a IK player scale in here. Go ahead and open it up. Okay, and then go back in, come over to our scripts, rig scripts, network scripts, I think it's in here, network BNG scripts, and then we're going to create a new C# script called network player scale. Go and open that up. So same thing, we want using mirror because we need this to be a network behavior, and we need using root motion, and we need namespace BNG. These can go away, and then doop. And then we're going to copy this stuff. So just take all of this, yep, Control copy, and we're going to slap it in here. I'm going to turn this into a network behavior. And right here below controller, we want to say public override void on start client. Get rid of the base. Some people write this base dot is owned. You know, you don't really need to. I say if is owned. This dot enabled equals false. Again, we only want this running on the local player, and then we will sync those results with the network transform because it's syncing our scale. So once we use this to scale our player, it's going to sync that scale to our remote. So we only need this running on our local player's representation. And then down here, just for the safety's sake, let's just say if is owned. We'll do this just to be thorough. This should never happen, but just in case, you won't have people scaling other players. Yeah, so once we have that saved up, you can go ahead and close this. We just need this. So let's come back over to our setup. We'll load up. Back over to your assets, prefabs, pull it back in there. Let's come back down to our guy here. Let's do network player scale. Then you got to assign the IK, so it's just the same game object. We'll just leave it as A button now. Later we can trigger this from a menu option and stuff like that for player calibration. We'll get into that later. That's a pretty big setup that we're going to be using a different scene and all kinds of stuff. So we'll hit that in another video. So now, come up to your network rig, overrides, apply all, get rid of it, file, save. And now let's go ahead and do it locally with our headset on to make sure that the scaling is working. Hit host, and if it is, if I'm sitting down, you should see my body get tiny. Oh, I'm a little guy. I'm a little tiny guy. And if I get up, there we go. Okay. So, file, save, file, build and run. Hit host, play, client, open the scene. I've got two guys. Let's pull this one up. Come on. Hello. Come on. Okay. So now if I stand up, you see me scale on the remote as well as my local. Dancing around. Hey-o. And you got animated legs and all that stuff. So now, just bring your guy back in here. Come down to your hands. Controller and the other one. Remember, we're going to need our grabber and all that stuff, so the only thing that you really want to disable is your models. So we can just go ahead and get rid of that. Save. Overrides. Apply all. Save. If you're not planning on using those hands ever, you can go ahead and get rid of the animators. I'm going to leave them on there for now because I may be hitting back on those later. So I'm just going to disable them for now. But you can actually get rid of the network animators for your hands if you don't plan on using your hands, and then you can actually get rid of the models altogether. So here, let's do this, and overrides, apply all, save, delete, file, build and run. guys. Okay. Maybe on this one. Stand straight up, scale. There you go. And then if you look at my other one, okay. One other thing that we need to do, since we're in here, I'll go and do that in this video. Pull him back in there. Come down to your avatar. Branch it out, come underneath hips, come down to spine, left shoulder, left forearm, right here. Let's add a twist relaxer. Go ahead and add one here. I think you may be able to put this on the root. I haven't really tried it yet, and then just add multiple solvers. I don't know, I haven't tried. This is the way BNG set it up, so that's just the way I've always done it. Anyway, we need our VRIK. We need the transform that we're on, and then we need the parent. Swing this over to 1, make this 0.5, and file save. And then I'll show you the difference of what this does. Delete, file save, play. Hopefully this just works, because obviously I just threw it on there. Are you working? Oh, wait. Hold on. Did I put you in the right spot? Let's check. Spine, spine, spine. Darn. I didn't put you in the right spot. I put it in the wrong spot. Put you in the wrong spot. Come on down here. Open it all up again. Don't go on the arm. Copy the component because I set it up right. Remove the component. It goes on the forearm. Paste component is new. Okay, so it should have that. Shoulder is the parent. 1, 0.5, and 0. Okay. Overrides. Apply all. Delete, play, host. Let's see. Okay, do over. It still wasn't working, but I figured out why. It was because I moved it without reassigning stuff. So just pull your network rig back in, come down to your avatar, maximize it out, come down to where we had it. We had it on our forearm. Let's just get rid of it, so remove it. Come up to the rig, overrides, apply all. Come back down to your left forearm. Add the twist relaxer. Come up to your IK, drag it over. Add a twist solver. We need the forearm as the transform, and for the parent, we need a left arm. Drag this over to 1, make this 0.5. Okay. File, save. Overrides, apply all, save it again. I'm just going to disable him, then hit play. Hit host. So you can see it gets rid of the funky twist. You can adjust it, but that's how you set up a twist relaxer. Works really well for models that don't have a twist bone, things like that. So let's go ahead and set it up for our other one. So come down to the spine, come down to your right shoulder, bring it out, need the forearm, add a component, twist relaxer, need the forearm, Oops. I mean the IK, sorry. Pull your IK over. This is where VRIK is at. Pull the forearm over for transform, and then the right arm here. Drag this to 1, this to 0.5. That's a good place to start. Overrides, apply all. File, save. Go ahead and disable this. Hit play. Host. There you go. Look around and make sure that you're not getting any kind of weird twisting going on. Some models, the twist relaxer does some really funky stuff to the arms, but most of the time it works pretty good. That other dude's there, as you can see. That's why I keep deleting him out of the scene, because he's a network object, and when you start your scene, he will enable. So let's go and delete him. File, save, file, build and run. Client, scene, pull up our other one. Always takes it a second to click over. You could set up parallel sync for this, and it would probably be a little bit faster. But for the sake of this, I'm just gonna build it. Here we go. Don't have the weird twisting going on. Stand up, scales. Okay. All right. For the sake of this, just to be thorough, it's always good to build it twice. Put 3 players in there. Make sure you don't have any odd things going on. This is all pretty simple stuff so far, so we should be good. This one, and then over here I'm going to hit client. We should have everybody connected. Yep, you can see 2 guys there. We have 3 clones. So if I click through each one of these, nothing funky is going on. All right. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this episode and you've gotten Final IK working on a basic level. In later videos, we will get into how you can animate your hands across the network using full body, and how we can incorporate sitting mode and standing mode and start working with a menu scene where you can make all your selections for your avatar. And we'll start getting into how you can have separate avatars. I wanted to get this in here with just a single avatar for you guys that are kind of in a hurry to get that going. I'm still undecided if I'm going to bring in a something like Ready Player Me or something like that, but we'll see how much time I've got. But hopefully this helped, and I hope you learned something, and have a good day.